3 planning lessons from the One Big Beautiful Bill. Hi, it's financial planner Sean Mullaney. Let's discuss. And on the channel, I have previously discussed the big changes to charitable giving in the One Big Beautiful Bill. And I've discussed the senior deduction that is new under the One Big Beautiful Bill. But I think it's time to step back, right? We've had this thing out there for over a month. It's time to boil down what are the planning lessons from the One Big Beautiful Bill. And I have 3 of them for you to consider. The first one is one that is really just a continuation of something we've seen for at least a decade now, which is this: retirees continue to be lightly taxed. And we just keep seeing this over and over again. And we've had commentators out there saying, retirees in the future are going to pay more in income tax. Well, the problem with that prediction is the future keeps happening. And the future keeps having tax cuts, not tax hikes for retirees. And One Big Beautiful Bill is an exclamation point on that, right? So first, we had the extension of the lower tax rates, especially the 15% bracket going to 12%. That's huge for retirees. The higher standard deduction, they didn't only just extend it, they increased that. Yes, it's only by $750 for singles this year, $1,500 for marrieds, but every little bit counts, and that increase goes into future inflation adjustments. So this is all just going to compound to the benefit of retirees. So if One Big Beautiful Bill, like its predecessors, keeps telling us that taxes are going to be low on retirees, why do we keep fearing taxes in retirement? And isn't retirement a really good time to pay taxes? If they're telling you, look, we don't want to tax retirees big at all, isn't that a good time? Isn't that a time to shift taxes into, right? You have to start questioning some of this, Roth 401k at work, Roth 401k at work. Well, that's an invitation to accelerate and potentially increase taxes. And that's essentially saying, well, pay taxes while you're working, when you tend to be at your highest rates, not, hey, pay tax when you pay less tax in retirement. So I think at some point we have to come to grips with this, that Congress and the president, whether you like the policy or not, they keep telling us we want to lightly tax retirees. That has some implications for planning. All right, so that's the first lesson from the One Big Beautiful Bill. The second lesson from the One Big Beautiful Bill is we have to start questioning large taxable Roth conversions. So for the last few years, what did we hear? We heard, well, you better get those Roth conversions in before the end of 2025. Why? Because the lower tax rates are going to sunset. Well, what happened? The lower tax rates did not sunset, right? That's really interesting to me. Because now we're going to hear another version of this. We're going to hear, well, that senior deduction, that's only around for 4 years, so you better do your Roth conversions while the senior deduction's around. Well, wait a minute, though. There were people out there saying, hey, speed up Roth conversions because of a quote-unquote temporary tax cut. Well, are they going to say that again? Yes, I get it. The senior deduction is not guaranteed to be renewed for 2029, right? There's no guarantee here. But recent history would suggest that it probably will be. And I will say this, the politics are on the side of it getting renewed. Not guaranteed, but in 2029, the tax cut for tipped income, the tax cut for overtime income, and the senior deduction go away. And that sets up a favorable political situation where there'll be pressure to renew those tax cuts. Not guaranteed, but a favorable political situation for retirees. But even so, put the senior deduction to the side, right? Tax rates on retirees have gone down permanently now. The standard deduction that retirees enjoy has gone down, has gone up permanently, right? Is that really telling us that in our old age, we're going to have really bad tax results without large Roth conversions? Now, look, I'm not here to say a Roth conversion can never make sense, but I think, a lot of what the Roth conversion is addressing is fear about taxes later on in retirement. And those taxes just got cut with the rate reductions and the higher standard deduction. So I think we have to really think about that long and hard before we do very significant taxable Roth conversions in the early and mid part of retirement. And then the third lesson for the financially affluent, delaying Social Security. This has several advantages on the tax side and on the investment side, in my opinion, right? You got to do you. I'm not giving you investment advice in this video. But isn't it interesting? If we can delay Social Security to age 70, we're buying our mid to late 60s as a time of low ordinary income. That gives us a lot of planning flexibility. Maybe we do Roth conversions against the standard deduction. Maybe we just take money out of our traditional retirement accounts against the standard deduction. I call that the hidden Roth IRA. Why take Social Security if we don't need it? And delaying opens up a planning window, and delaying increases the future benefits and makes our future finances less volatile because we're going to have more of this non-volatile income source, Social Security. So I think that's the third lesson of the One Big Beautiful Bill, is that many of us ought to be thinking seriously about delaying Social Security. By the way, delaying Social Security is a way to sort of optimize for the senior deduction. Now, I will say this: if you cannot financially afford to delay claiming Social Security, then the odds are your tax picture is going to be just fine. You have a financial sufficiency issue, but retirees with financial sufficiency issues tend to have very low taxes anyway. So, I think those are the big three lessons here, is that generally speaking, retirees tend to be lightly taxed. We ought to question large taxable Roth conversions in early to mid-retirement. And for the financially affluent, we ought to think long and hard about delaying claiming Social Security. But what do you think? What do you think about One Big Beautiful Bill, about traditional versus Roth, about Roth conversions in retirement? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please mash that like button and subscribe to my channel. I will see you next time.